What it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. This is Chief Kalanago, man, with another video. Brothers and sisters, people of the world, how y'all doing? Sakpase, Mabrikwa, Halito, Osio, Shalom. What the deal is? Wagwan. Let's make this thing happen. We about to get into this build. All right. It's a beautiful day. Want to give thanks to the great spirit, Mother God, man, just for the continuation of life. Want to give thanks to my ancestors. Want to give thanks to my guardian angels, and which is pretty much to me one of the same. You feel me? But I always like to show my appreciation, my gratitude, and give honor. All right. I have a great bill for you guys today. We are going to get into a few things. If you could see the title of the video. Um, for some reason, okay, here people are tuning in, so the chat is open. By all means, drop some love on the chat, and let's get into this. I tell people it's important to know who we are as a people, and but also we have to know law. We have to know law because even if our people know who they are, one part of the equation or another part of the equation that's missing is the fact that we need to know law. We need to know those decisions that are being made by these municipal entities. We need to know how they affect our lives and how do we deal with situations when our rights as indigenous people, American Aboriginals, whatever or whichever you want to identify as, or American Indian, when our rights are being violated, we have to know what's in place, to rebuttal a lot of this unjust that's taken place. All right. For those of you who are not aware, history and law goes hand in hand. Okay. Without history created law. Peace and love to each and every one of you. All right. I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Thanks for asking. All right. Hope all is well. Okay. History and law goes hand in hand. So you cannot have law without having history. And you cannot have history without having law. So yes, it's imperative that we as a people, we know who we are. I mean, that's the foundation of, our livelihood. However, if we don't know how to stand on our legal and lawful grounds when it comes to, defending ourselves, then it becomes problematic. Okay, so I'm gonna go into a few things, and of course, I have put my disclaimer in the bottom of the video, but I'm gonna just speak it out loud. All right. By no means I am not giving anybody any legal advice. I am not a practicing attorney. All right. I'm just merely sharing information for education. You do your own research and make sure that you do your own due diligence, in the practice of anything. All right. So I just want to point that out. Now, with that being said, I want you to know that there is always a balance in life. There has to be balance. Everything cannot just be what we call bad, and everything cannot just be what we call good. All right. So, on the same token, where there are people that we may look at as being bad in society, there are people who are being good. In other words, there are people who strive and they thrive on the energy of people, period. Okay, it's all about greed, it's all about money, it's all about power. There are people that literally are in positions ruining people's lives because of greed and power. But on the same side of that token, or the flip side of that token, there are people who are actually fighting on behalf of people who are considered to be good people. So we have to know, let us not give up hope. Let us not think that all is lost. Okay? Let us not think that all is lost, family. You feel me? All is not lost. We have to be able to educate ourselves properly, okay? And with information that is effective. So I'm going to go into a few things, and I have to give this long intro so that you know that don't matter what you are going through, there is always a remedy. Okay, we are living, a lot of people don't realize we are living in a society where we have been captured. Okay, we are prisoners of war in our own land, and a lot of you may not agree with that, but that's because you don't know history, okay, and you don't know law. And no disrespect to anyone. For me, I never make the claim that I know everything, but I know enough to know what's happening. You feel me? So we are living in a system because you feel you could get up and go to work. You could buy food, or you could drive your car, or you could send your children to school. You think that you are free. No, it's an illusion. You are not free. Okay? We have occupiers in our land, all right, that's there to make sure that their subjects could only attain certain privileges, but not the rights that was endowed or given to you by the creator. So we have to know the difference between privileges and rights. And when it deals with municipalities and these governments, they are giving you privileges. So you don't know that you're still enslaved. You don't know it's that the life that you're living is an illusion, because you could watch TV all day, you could play sports, and you could date, and you could do all these things. You're just on a big prison camp with so much benefits. Okay? What is the difference between the way we live right now and people who are incarcerated? They have gyms, they eat 3 times a day, okay? They watch TV, they get to do certain things. The only difference is the mobility, okay? In terms of how far they could go, their mobility is limited. So because you are able to travel and do these things domestically, it doesn't mean that you're not enslaved or you're a prisoner. All right. So I just wanted to point that's facts, whether you want to believe it or not. I'm not here to ask people to believe anything, but I'm here to point out the facts and the reality of our situation as the original people of this land. Anytime you have your own land, or you are the original inhabitant of a land, and there are people on this land who are not original to the land, but they have the ultimate power, then that means you're a prisoner. Straight up, I mean, straight up liquor without the chaser. All right. And I'm not advocating drinking liquor. All right. I'm just using that as an example. So I'm going to read an article where some reform, okay, is being made. All right. Some reform is being made, and it's happening right now. It's starting off in Lansing, Michigan. All right. So that's why it's imperative that we as a people, we get more into the political platform, because that's where all these decisions are being made. That's where bills are being passed. That's where, legislations are being passed. All right. And if the indigenous people of that territory, okay, they're not playing a role in any of those bills or those legislations that's being passed, then I guarantee you it's not going to work in our favor. All right. So we have a right to be at the table when those decisions are being made. But however, there are good people, there are great people working on behalf of the people who don't have a voice, people who don't have the power. So keep that in mind. All right. Keep that in mind. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to read that article. And it's, like I said, it's taking place right now, or at least it's being proposed by the commission in Lansing, Michigan. All right. And for those of you, once again, who want to support my channel, the Cash App is in the link below. By all means, feel free to support, to show your love and appreciation for all that I do and the hard work that I bring to you. And I would definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. So I'm going to share my screen right now, and we're going to get into a little bit of reading. Reading is fun for the mental. All right. It depends on what you read, though. All right. So here we go. I'm going to share the screen, and thank you to the chieftainess that sent that information to me. All right. And as you could see, I have the title of the video: Conflicts of Interest Abound When Court Finds Fund Courts, Commission Says. So for those of you, sometimes we read things, and because a lot of times when what we read, because we don't know our mind, all right, People interpret things they read based on their mindset. Okay, so if you don't have a legal mind, then this may not make any sense to you. And pardon all the ads, all right? But I'm gonna break this down and articulate it to you so you're able to comprehend. Oh man, come on, what's going on here? All right, let me go back here for a second. A lot of times a lot of these sites, they have a lot of extra ads and then it interrupts, so pardon me for that. But anyway, let us get back to the subject at hand. All right. Conflicts of interest abound when courts finds fund courts, commission says. So essentially what the title is saying is that there is going to be a conflict of interest. In other words, there's going to be impartiality. All right. It arises when the courts is being funded through fines. Okay, because when you go to court, they always looking for you to pay a fine. And what a lot of people don't realize is that these courts are being funded through fines. Okay, so when you go to court, 9 out of 10 times, they will charge you. They will make you pay a fee, even if they say, well, you know what? Well, normally this charge is $200, but today we're gonna work something out and we're gonna let you pay $75. We're gonna make you pay $100. Just imagine that when you go to a court and you sit there, just be an observer, and you would see how many cases that are being tried throughout the course of the day. I'm talking about hundreds, if not thousands of cases are being tried. And if they make a deal with every individual that comes into that court, then what do you think is happening? All right. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. It's a job that they do. And what they do is they put the policy enforcers, the police out there, okay, to get these clients to come into their business. All right. A lot of times you cannot blame the police officers because they're only doing what they are taught. A lot of these police officers, they don't know law. They know codes, they know statutes, no disrespect. I'm just speaking facts. A lot of them don't know law. So when you start speaking law to them, all of a sudden, they want to call you a sovereign citizen. All right? They want to call you an extremist because they're not taught law. They're only taught codes and policies and ordinances. So literally, they're programmed. Now, mind you, not every police officer is ignorant of law. Some of them do know, but those they put on the beat and on the street, the majority of them don't know law. So in other words, they're dealing from a mindset of, I have a job to do. It's from A to Z, and those are the codes that I know. And if you don't follow this code, then that means you violated a law, not knowing that a statute or an ordinance is not a law. It's just a policy. That's why they're called policy enforcers. And once again, just to validate the point, which I didn't even want to go there, but I am going there just for the sake of doing this lecture. All right, so let me go to Google real quick. And I've gone over this before, right? But like I said, for the purpose of doing the presentation, let me just again validate the points that I'm making. Let us go look at the etymology of policy, which I have done before, okay, of policy. And you would see it has the same root with police, okay? You will see it has the same root. Here we go, all right? So here we are, all right? Once again, if for those of you who don't know what the etymology or the etym of a word is, it is the origin of the word, okay? The meaning, what it was meant to, what it was meant for, in other words, the energy it was meant to carry, all right? Now, policy, way of management, policy, study or practice of government, good government, from Old English, policy, political organization, civil administration. So anything that deals with policy, it deals with administrative law, all right? That's what it is. It all has to deal with administration, organization, all right? It's all administrative. That's why all this lower courts are all administrative. All of them, no exception. All right. From late Latin polita or politia, the state civil administration. Again, it deals with administration. From Greek politiae, state administration, government, citizenship. From police or polites, citizen, from police, city or state. Now let us go. It says from. So that means it came from that word. It derived from that word police. So let us go look at what police is. All right. Let's go look at the etymology of that. All right. Police, ancient Greek. All right. Title or title, fort or city, once, city, the state, community, citizens, title, enclosed space, etc., 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 etc. Well, let us go look at police now. All right. Let us go look at police because it comes up as police as well. So here we go, police. I'm going to show you it has the same etymology with the word police we just looked at, right? Police. Now, the regulation and control of a community. At first, essentially the same as what? Policy. So once again, police and policy is essentially the same word. So when a police officer steps to you, it's literally a policy that's stepping to you. Okay? The man is acting in the capacity of a police or he's presenting a policy. All right, from Middle French police, from Latin politia, civil administration, see what police is the same thing. So know when a police officer, the man, well, first off, it's not a police that's stepping to you. Okay, he's not a police because he wasn't born that. He's acting in the capacity of a police. In other words, he's presenting a policy. So the man that approaches you calling himself a police, he's not a police. All right? He's presenting a policy. He's a man acting in the capacity of a police officer. So keep that in mind. I hope that is clear. Okay? So let me come back here for a second. Thank you, America, for supporting the super chat. That's very much appreciated. All right. So once again, all right, we have to realize what's going on. You feel me? We have to realize what's going on. Know the difference. All right. Let us go into reading this information real quick. All right. Here we are. And this is from Lansing, Michigan. All right. And like I said, there are good people, you know, literally putting their lives out there to make a difference. And we have to find those people and give them our support. All right. Conflicts of interest abound when courts found courts, commission says. Lansing, Michigan's trial court system is broken, just like all of them across the country. But I'm glad at least something is starting somewhere. I'm pleased that some dialogue is being had, okay? Headed towards a possible financial emergency and unfairly funded by people involved in criminal cases, a state commission found. So there was an investigation done, and the commission found that it's unfair, all right? The court system is unfair and it's founded by people involved in criminal cases, all right? To limit the influence of money on the judicial system, members of the trial court founding commission are recommending that the state create a stable funding system for local courts instead of allowing courts to generate their own revenue through fines. Okay, so these courts are once again independent organizations. They are businesses. Okay, they are businesses owned by private citizens, and it's a business, it's a hustle. And how they make profit is through fines. All right. Once again, having men and women acting as police or policies, all right, or presenting policies to you. And if you don't abide by their policies, then you get a fine and they take you into their place of business and they make you pay a charge. Okay. They charge you and they make you pay a debt. You feel me? But what they are not telling you in law is that you are not obligated by their policies. They're making you think it's law, but it's not law. All right. It's a business. It's a private owned business. All right. So once again, to limit the influence of money on judicial system, members of the trial court funding commission are recommending that the state create a stable funding system for local courts instead of allowing courts to generate their own revenue through fines. So they're saying, you know what, man, let's find a way, all right, to fund these courts through a stable system, opposed to allowing them, in other words, they're rogue. Let us not allow them to generate their revenue through fines, okay? And it reads, we want to eliminate the possibility that in every decision the judge is thinking about the bottom line instead of the guilt or innocence of the defendant. And Ingham County District Judge, Judge Thomas Boyd, who chairs the commission during a State House subcommittee meeting on Tuesday. All right, so the goal here now is to make sure that the judges are not thinking of the bottom line. And the bottom line means they're looking at it from strictly a financial perspective, making money, profit. Okay? That should not be the position of a judge. But however, they're saying that they want it to be, all right, instead, make it be only about the innocence or the guilt of the defendant. All right? And the judge who's proposing that is Ingham County District Judge Thomas Boyd. So anybody who's in Michigan, all right, especially in Lansing, take that name and make sure the judge get the support of the community. Because like I said, there are people wanting to do things, great things. But when they're not getting the support of the people, all of a sudden, these bills or these ideas or whatever it is that's being presented, it is swept underneath the rug. And even if you are not in Michigan, within your own county, wherever you at, remember, there is always a commission. There is always a commission or a committee that deals with judges, police, attorneys, anybody who violates your right. There is always a commission to make a formal complaint. And if enough people come together and make these complaints to the commission, things will be done. But you have to unite and let your voice be one. Okay? It reads, in the cost of it cost between 1.1 and 1.4 billion billion annually to operate the state's 242 trial courts. Okay? In Michigan, it costs 1.4 billions annually to operate the state's 242 trial courts. Can you imagine that? So you see how much money they're raking in, and they have to make to keep the business afloat. So if it costs 1.4 billion annually, we're not talking about profit. We are talking about expenses. So just imagine they have to make their profits at least 5 to 6, 7, 10 times. Read between the lines. If it costs $1.4 billion annually to operate it, we are talking about expenditure, right? Now we are getting into, accounting, assets and liabilities, right? So we are talking about that $1.4 billion is a liability. We are not talking about the asset side of the accounting. So if they have to spend $1.4 billion, just imagine how much they are making, because they are not in it to lose. I promise you that. Okay? So they're at least caking at least $10 billion a year. And then the expenditure would be 1.4 billion. Where is that rest of the money going? That's going towards judges, prosecutors, all those people that's part of the business. They have shares, they have equity in these court cases, in every court case. All right? Facts over feelings. Let's read. It says more than 418 million of that comes from fines and fees paid by people found guilty of crimes. You see what I'm saying? And honestly, I think it's more. I think they're being very generous. I think it's more. Literally, I think 3/3. All right. I mean, I think 2/3 of that is coming from people who are found guilty. I honestly think that. All right. So there is a reason why when you go into the court, you come out paying a fine. Whether you make a deal or not, you are coming out paying a fine. And that's all the majority of these magistrates and judges think about is the bottom line. All right, that financial gain. Now, that means the judges who impose those penalties also rely on them to operate their courts, giving judges an incentive to issue heftier fines to boot court budgets. I am so pleased that a judge is talking about that. You feel me? That's why a lot of these judges are actually partial. They are supposed to be impartial, but they can't, because every case that's being tried, all right, if the defendant is found innocent, all right, or they're not charged, then the prosecutors have to pay the court fines and they have to pay the judges. Brothers and sisters, pay attention to what I'm saying. If you're found innocent without paying a court fee or a fine, the prosecutor has to pay for the venue. The prosecutor has to pay the judge for his or her time. So therefore, they work in cahoots together. And that's unlawful. It's unconstitutional because this is a conflict of interest. Okay? It's a conflict of interest. I'm going to give you an example. If Golden State and the Cavaliers are playing and the referee, all right, is the coach for Golden State, who do you think is going to win? It's a conflict of interest. So it's the same thing. When you go to court, the judge is the referee. How can the judge be on the same side with the prosecutor and tell me that this system is fair and just? It just doesn't make sense. So we have to challenge these things. But who do you take your complaint to? Because they violate your rights, and then they get the policy enforcer to come get you when you stand up for your right. They get the sheriff to come get you when you stand for your rights. So who do we go to? It's like the people making the law, they seem to be above the law. So how does that work? So there are commissions that you could take your formal complaint to. All right? There are commissions. You could do that. You just have to know which one you have to, in your city, you have to know which one you have to be able to take your complaint. And don't just do it by yourself. Get a group of people whose rights have been violated and make formal complaints. And that's how things change. All right? Now it says, Boyd said he saw the influence of such incentives firsthand when he was appointed to the bench in 2005. All right? So that's a judge saying that, man, listen, I've seen this with my own eyes. All right? These judges are being unfair. They have a budget to make. All right? They have to take care of their families, and they're imposing heftier fines on people. All right? He said he has always seen fines as rehabilitation tool, not a way to fund the courts. All right? Let us read some more. And of course, I'm going to put all that in the link below so you could read it yourself, right? Once that became clear, I was summoned to the county commission to answer for my sentencing practices because it wasn't bringing enough revenue, he said. Now you see that? He said, once that became clear, he was summoned. All right, he was summoned. You see the same way that the court would give you a summon? They summoned him to the county commission to answer for my sentencing practices because it wasn't bringing enough revenue. So he was saying, yo, because he was trying to be a judge doing the right thing, it wasn't bringing enough revenue. He was summoned to the commission. One of the county officials referred to district courts as what? A cash cow for local government. He said, an attitude that poisons the relationships between courts and communities. Brothers and sisters, those are not my words. That is a judge talking. Like I said, there are people willing to stand up and do the right thing. But when you don't support them, they have to go into hiding. They have to be silenced. They have to shut their mouth. All right? So I encourage you to always support people doing the right thing. All right? I put my cash up out there so you could support because I am doing the right thing. So you go ahead and do the right thing. So get in touch with this judge in Lansing. For all those of you who are actually in Michigan, all right? Show them the brother. I don't know if it's a brother or whoever, but show the man that the public has his support. Okay? Let him know that he has your support. I'm going to read that again. One county official referred to the district courts as what? A county official referred to district courts as what? A cash cow for local governments. They are all working together. All right? They all have equity in these courts. It's a business. All right? It's a business. And he said, an attitude that poisons the relationships between courts and communities. And when you go assert your rights, they have bailiffs in the courts. All right? The judge want to hold you in contempt and send you into jail. But they are the ones violating your rights. They are the ones breaking the law. You feel me? Let us read some more. All right, come on, man. All right, where we at? Okay, so here we go. Once again, because of all these ads that be on the sites, it slow things down, right? But I'm gonna read a little more, and let's see what have we here. Give me a second. All right, cool. And he said, again, those are in quotes, right? I have met many young men from lower socioeconomic strata who believe in their heart the only reason they are talking to me is because I want their money, he said. They fail to appear because they don't have money to pay me. And then they end up in jail. Commissioners aren't suggesting eliminating court fines, Boyd said, but that fines should be sent to the state and then doled out to courts based on what courts need, not based on what courts collect. All right? So the collecting of the funds right now is based on what courts collect and not what they need. So it opens the door to greed, all right, and violating the rights of the community. Okay? That method could lead to better policing. State Court Administrator Milton Mack Jr. told legislatures on Tuesday, he said, departments would be less inclined to use methods like speed traps, which I have a problem with. This is entrapment, to issue a glut of tickets to motorists, which lead to fines that help fund the courts in the department communities. Okay? Like I said, I don't blame the police too much because they are only doing their job because they themselves, they don't know what law is. The majority of them don't. They are only practicing, again, policy. A police is policy, is the same thing. They just took the word policy and they put it in uniform and tell you it's a police. But a man is not a police. Okay? They are presenting a policy when they step in that uniform. He is a man acting in the capacity of a policy. Okay? Like I said, reading is fundamental. Read with understanding. Now it says, traffic enforcement would be based on traffic safety instead of revenue because ticket fees wouldn't come back to your city, he said. Michigan trial courts also are funded by federal government at approximately 7.2% and local governments at 43.9%, like I told y'all before. The federal government funds these courts. They have a budget to try certain cases every year. So they're already getting bread. So everything else they're doing is called a surplus. And that goes into their pockets. All right? The state pays for approximately 22.7% of the trial court operations in PATH with money generated from fines. State government likely would have to pay a larger share if the legislature's reforms court fundings. Boyd said it's too early to say how much that would cost. A spotlight turned on Michigan's trial court funding in 2017 when the state Supreme Court ruled local courts don't have the authority to use defendants' fines to pay for day-to-day operations. So I'm glad that some type of reform is taking place. The legislature responded by allowing courts to act to assess such fines through October 2020 and creating the 14-person commission to review money influence on Michigan's trial courts. The commission presented their findings to the committee on Tuesday. Recent state and federal court decisions foreshadow a future with reform courts, said Rep. or Republican Rob Verheulen. R. Walker, he pointed to a July opinion written by Michigan Supreme Court Chief Justice Bridget Mary McCormack, which referenced a conflict of interest when courts fund themselves. And by right, it's a conflict of interest because the judges are being partial. They're siding with the attorneys, they're siding with the prosecutors for financial gain. And that is unlawful, it's unconstitutional. Okay? In my eyes, again, quotes, in my eyes, that's a warning or request to the legislature to take action before the Supreme Court does and puts us in a spot where we have completely underfunded court systems and then we have to scramble, he said. So like I told y'all before, man, there are laws that these people have to abide by. They're not above the law. So anytime you see any one of these officials acting like they're above the law, there are commissions, okay, that you could go to and make a formal complaint. Get their oath of office, get their bond. They have a surety bond, all right? That when they violate the public or they bring harm to anyone or injury to anyone, they could be sued and fined. Okay? Don't let them, intimidate you with fear. That's what they do. Remember, they are acting in a fiduciary capacity. That means that they have an obligation to the people. They work for the people. It's not the other way around. You are the boss, not them. And therefore, a lot of these policies need to be reformed, and hence when they're reformed, the police will be reformed because the police need to be educated. All right? Establish a stable court finding system. The state should find trial courts with help from local governments in a consistent, predictable, and proportional way in order to make sure everyone has equal access to justice. Pay for court technology. A unified technology system across Michigan's trial courts would reduce costs, reduce the workload for the court workers, and make it easier to share resources such as interpreters, recording, and transcriptions. All right? So they're just giving some of the solutions here. All right? Establish uniform assessments and centralized collections. Centralizing duties like determining appropriate fines and then collecting them at the state level would save costs and remove conflicts of interest. Move toward a uniform employment system, making court workers state employees instead of local employees would ensure they are paid equally and would reduce costs for local governments. All right? Transition to the new court funding model. Changing the way trial courts are funded would take thoughtful planning and years of implementation. All right? And they have a number to contact. Contact Carol Thompson at 517-377-1018. So if you are in the Michigan area, I suggest you get involved and you make sure that this thing is definitely put into motion and it becomes a reality. All right. Before I continue, let me just come back to the feed real quick and making sure that let me stop sharing. I know they don't make it easy, right? I know they don't make it easy. They aren't supposed to, because once again, it's a business. All right. It's a private organization that's working for profit. Okay, they are working for profit. So they're not going to make it easy. Because they're not going to make it easy, it doesn't mean that you should give up. All right, it doesn't mean that you should give up. As the people, you are supposed to come together and make your statement, make your complaint. All right, do flyers, go around the community, ask anyone and everyone, have you been violated? Have your rights been violated? Well, we are going to have a community meeting and we're going to make a formal complaint against these wrongdoers. Okay, something has to be done. I am tired of seeing our brothers and sisters being taken advantage of by this system. And to make it worse, we are the original indigenous people of this land. Where is the respect? So if you have it across every state, especially Florida, Jersey, New York, a lot of these different states, they are violating the rights of indigenous people. Okay? And something has to be done. But it's up to you, the people, to make that change. Make that change. All right? We got to make that change. And how do you do that? The pen is mightier than the sword. All right? You come together, you put your formal complaints together. All right? And you make a claim against these people. Once again, they're not above the law. And their job is not to interpret the law either. All right? It's to uphold the law. And once again, it begs the question as to what the law is. Because by right, no law can be made unless it was made by the original people. So at the end of the day, it's all deals with legality. It's all policies and statutes and codes. Okay? How do you come into my home and tell me what the law is? All right? So I'm going to share my screen again. And let me just drink a little water. But I will put that information in the link below so you guys could read that and digest it in your own time. Once again, I am not here giving legal advice. I'm not an attorney. All right. I'm not telling you what to do. However, I am just sharing that for educational purposes and use it the best way you see fit. All right. If you need legal advice, I suggest you contact somebody who practices law. All right. Me personally, I don't. If I have to get any attorney, I have to make sure they sign a disclaimer that they work for me and not for the Bar Association of the state. All right. So because there's a conflict of interest. So I do things a little bit differently. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen again and let's get into some something that applies to everyone if they so choose to use it when your rights are being violated. Okay. All right, so right now, we're gonna go to the USC codes. All right, the USC codes are in place. All right, so that these people who act in the capacity of fiduciaries, all right, they have guidelines and oaths that they took. All right, and all these USC codes are put in place so that they don't step over their authority, their delegation of authority. Okay, their delegation of authority, their DOA, their delegation of authority. They cannot overstep that, because if we just allow a lawless system, then everybody will be in jail because it is for a monetary. It is for monetary purposes. All right, these people are working on behalf of private corporations. So if there is no guideline in place or no laws in place to keep them in check, can you imagine, man, listen, they wouldn't have jails big enough to put people. So the USC codes are there, all right, so that when they violate your rights, you could quote these codes and let them know, hey, I know my rights. And I know you have an oath, whether it may be an oath to the state constitution or the Constitution of the United States. I know you have an oath to uphold that constitution. All right. And those codes apply to you. So here's a jewel I'm going to drop on all of y'all when these judges and these magistrates are violating your rights. All right. It's Title 28 U.S. Code Section 454, practice of law by justices and judges. And a lot of people, if you didn't know, now you know, okay? It reads, any justice or judge appointed under authority of the United States who engages in the practice of law is what? Guilty of a high misdemeanor. How many of y'all knew that? So you see, a lot of our children are going to jail because they don't know. You see, our people perish for the lack of knowledge. And I'm going to explain to you exactly what that means. All right? And I'm going to read it again. Title 28, section, here we go. Title 28, U.S. Code, section 454, practice of law by justices and judges. So any magistrate or any judge, I don't care who it is, all right, that is appointed under the authority of the United States who engages in the practice of law is guilty of a high misdemeanor. What does that mean in layman's terms? What it means is this. All these judges and magistrates, they are practicing law. They are nothing but attorneys. And I'm talking about on a state level, within the municipalities, okay? They are all practicing attorneys. So if you do what's called a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, or in some places it's called an OPRA, where you check their status, all right, and you have every right to call the bar association in your state, your county, your city, and find out the status of a judge. And I guarantee you, if not 99% of them, 100% of them are practicing attorneys. They still have their bar card. They still have a bar ID. So what does that mean? They are practicing attorneys. So therefore, the statutes clearly state, okay, under the authority of the United States, if they engage in practicing of law, is guilty of a misdemeanor. So that's why you have to check the status of every judge and magistrate. Don't let them intimidate you. Check their status. What is your status? Are you a practicing attorney? Even before you go to court, you find that out. You call the bar association, you get their name. If the bar association want to give you a hard time, then you do a Freedom of Information Act. They have to give you that information. Once again, they're acting in a fiduciary position. They work for the people. The people don't work for them. So every judge and every magistrate, I guarantee you, they have a bar card. They are still practicing attorneys. So therefore, the U.S. Code states that if they are practicing law, that is a high misdemeanor. Okay? That is a high misdemeanor. And let us put a little more meat on the bone when in regards to that code. Let us go now to 28 U.S. Code, section 455, disqualification of justice, judge or magistrate judge. All right? They are disqualified to practice law. And let's read this, okay? Any justice, judge, or magistrate, judge of the United States shall disqualify himself in any proceeding in which his impartiality or partiality might reasonably be questioned. So anytime you have a question whether that judge is being impartial or not, all right, he or she have to disqualify himself. He shall also disqualify himself in the following circumstances: where he has a person bias or prejudice concerning a party, or personal knowledge of disputed evidentiary facts concerning the proceeding. So anytime you have a prosecutor and a judge in a courtroom, that is a conflict of interest, because they are practicing law. They are all part of the bar association. They both have bar cards. And when we go back to what? U.S. Code, title 28, section 454, it says what? Any justice or judge appointed under the authority of the United States who engages in the practice of law is guilty of a high misdemeanor. So that means when you question, again, you question their status, when you question their jurisdiction based on partiality or impartiality, they have to disqualify themselves because they and the prosecutors are on the same team. All right. Now it reads 2. Where in private practice he served as a lawyer in the matter in controversy, or a lawyer with whom he previously practiced law served during such association as a lawyer concerning the matter, or the judge or such lawyer has been a material witness concerning it. Okay. Once again, they are working on the same team. It says again, where he has served in governmental employment and in such capacity participated as a counsel, advisor, or material witness concerning a proceeding, or expressed an opinion concerning the merits of the particular case in controversy. So once again, you have to do your background. You are going to court. All right. You have to do your background and do your research on the prosecutor, the judge, the attorney, everybody that's bringing a case against you, making you a defendant. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. Number 4, it says what? He knows that he individually or as a fiduciary, okay, he has an obligation to the people, or his spouse or minor child residing in his household has a financial interest, the subject matter in controversy, or in a party to the proceeding, or any other interest that could be substantially affected by the court outcome of proceeding. All right. They have to disqualify themselves. Okay. They have to disqualify themselves because they have a financial interest in the proceeding. Okay. I just wanted to drop them jewels on y'all, and you do as you may with the information. All right. But just want to drop that for y'all. And like I said, man, people perish for the lack of knowledge. All right. People perish for the lack of knowledge. If you don't know, that's how you get hemmed up. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. I have to make another disclaimer. I am not here promoting people to be lawless. All right. And I'm being serious about that. I am not here to ask people to disrespect the police. By no means that's what I'm doing or saying. But on the same token, I am showing you, or I'm giving you the education or knowledge on how to make sure that your rights are being respected, and showing you how to protect your rights as the people. All right? Because if you're out there wilding out, all right, you deserve what you get. You have to be in honor. I want to teach our brothers and sisters how to be in honor. And once you're in honor, then they're not supposed to violate your rights. So keep that in mind. Any judge, magistrate that's on the bench, go do your own research. Don't believe anything I say. I'm showing you the law. Okay? Anytime they're on the bench, they have a bar card. They are practicing attorneys. So by default, that is a high misdemeanor. So do your research, do your due diligence before you step into this court. Do you ever see Serena going to play anybody on a court without practicing? Do you see Stephen Curry going on any court to play anybody without practicing? Do you see LeBron going on any court, to play anybody without practicing? So why are you going to court without practicing? Why are you going to court without doing your homework? Why are you going to court as a defendant and not a plaintiff? Anytime somebody make you a defendant, you put a counterclaim and make them the defendant. You feel me? When you look at table tennis, or you look at tennis, whether it may be a table or a lawn, when anybody, what does the opposing person does? They get a chance to serve them back. So how is that when they serve you, you don't serve them? You see, y'all playing a game y'all don't even comprehend. That's why when a lot of people come on my posts, whether it may be Facebook or YouTube, and start talking all that yang like they know what they're talking about, I don't even pay them no mind. I don't even pay them no mind. Okay? I don't pay y'all no mind. That's why I don't feed into y'all negativity. You see, me, I know law and I know history. You dig? So if you don't know, it's a game that's being played. That's why it's called a court. Okay? It's a game that's being played, and they're all actors. So when they serve you, you got to serve them back. Period. You make me a defendant, I'm making you a defendant. I'm coming in as a plaintiff. I'm not coming to no court as a defendant. How dare you make me your defendant? Now, I'm going to bring a claim against you, and I'm going to make you a defendant. I'm coming to this court. I'm coming before the court. I'm not coming in no court. I'm coming before the court as a man. Man, like, y'all better recognize what's going on, man. All right? For real. So once again, I'm just here to drop information to enlighten the people. All right? Do what you want with the information. But I'm just showing you the facts. I'm showing you the laws. All right? It's that simple. So once again, let me and they're gonna try to threaten you with duress and coercion. By all means, they are gonna do that. But don't let them intimidate you. All right? Don't let them intimidate you. All right? Here's another way you could protect if they want to force you to sign anything. Well, here you go. Let me share my screen again. Share my screen. Okay? Let us go to give me a second here. All right, give me a second. Let's share the screen again. And let's go to okay, let me see if I could get that. Let's go to I think it's titled 28-1-308, I think. Well, let me see. All right, I think it's titled 28 or let me see. All right, let me just get it. Section 1-308 to reserve your rights. All right, let's go look at that. Let me just share that with you guys, just in case they want to force you to sign anything under threat, duress, and coercion. Then you're gonna, that's how again, that's how I would. Again, I'm not here to give any legal advice. All right. So, all right, performance or acceptance on the reservation of rights. All right. So anytime anybody want to force you to sign anything, okay, you could do a couple of things. All right. If they want to force you, you let them know, hey, listen, you know what? I do not give consent to this contract. If they want to force you into is the law, you got to sign, then you know what you sign, section 1-308. That's all that's it. Just put section 1-308. You don't have to put USC code or none of that. Just put section -1308. And so it says a party with explicit reservation of rights perform or performance or promises performance or assents to performance in a manner demanded or offered by the other party does not thereby prejudice the rights reserved. Such words as without prejudice on the protest or like or sufficient. Basically, just put section 1-308. All right. So for me, I would put, hey, I'm reserved. All rights reserved. Section 1- or just put 1-308, and I put without recourse. All right, without recourse, without liability and recourse. That's what I do. Okay. If you want to violate my rights, okay. If you want to violate my rights, that's what I do. All right. I sign. If you tell me I have to sign it, that's the law, which I know is not the law. I would put 1-308, section 1-308, and then I would just put without liability and or recourse, and I let you go with that. All right, and let you do you. And then what I would do is the following day, because I know it's a contract that you gave me. All right, so within contractual law, you have 3 days to rescind the contract. So as soon as I get that citation, the very next day, I'm sending in my rescission. All right, I rescind the contract that you're violating my rights, and that's it. You feel me? So I'm just talking. That's what I would do. So you find a way that you have to do what you have to do. But at the end of the day, we cannot allow these people to keep violating our rights. All right, and you end up in a situation because you don't know, or because you are not versed in law or the information. All right. So once again, I'm just putting out information out there for educational purposes. All right. So let me just go through the chat and give you guys a few shout outs. You know what I mean? Just to say what's up. All right. So everyone that's gonna be up here on the screen, that's just my way of giving you a shout out. All right. Even if I don't, call out the names, I'm just giving you a shout out. All right. Okay. That's what I'm doing. You feel me? I like to, let people know, man, I appreciate the fact that y'all come on. You know what I'm saying? You could be anywhere, but the mere fact that you're seeking knowledge, you're seeking to empower yourself. You feel me? It's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's where this is all. That's what this is all about. All right, educating the people. You feel me? Word up. So everybody, I'm giving everybody a little shout out. You feel me? Here we go. And once again, give thanks to, America. Thank you for supporting the super chat. I appreciate that. It's good to know that people appreciate the work that I'm putting in. You see, I tell people I don't just come on here and do videos. I give solutions. All right. Because we could come here and talk all day. If our people don't know what it means to be indigenous or how to act or how to protect yourself, man, it's all pointless to me. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I'm giving solutions. That's what I'm about. Giving solutions. All right. Giving solutions. Okay. All right. So I'm just giving everybody a little shout out. You know what I'm saying? Giving everybody a little shout out. All right. Much respect to all. Thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate, you guys. Appreciate love you guys. You know what I'm saying? Indeed. All right. Because like I said, it's all a game and you have to know how to play the game. All right. You have to know how to play the game. You have to. All right. Don't go play these games that you don't know how to play, family. All right. Make sure you're going to court. If you need time to prepare yourself, then put a motion before the court. You need time to present your case. You know what I mean? They can't just say, oh well, come to court tomorrow. Now you can't do that. You have to give me enough time to prepare myself. I gotta go get my stuff together. I gotta go practice. I gotta go do what I gotta do. All right, so here you go. You feel me? All right. All right. There we go. All rights reserved. There you go. Absolutely. You don't even have to put UCC. Again, you don't have to put UCC because remember, those are their copyright. That's their copyright. UCC is a copyright, so you don't have to put the word UCC. All you just put is 1-308. All rights reserved. That's it. And you could even go further and say, you know what, without liability or recourse. All right. You don't have to put UCC. All right, because UCC is patent and owned. All right. I didn't say more. All right. Well, me, true. I get that. All right. Whatever you were corresponding with, I respect the fact that you say that who you are. Me personally, myself, I'm not a more, so it's all good. All right. Got to know who you are. All right. All right. There you go. So at the end of the day, man, this is what it's all about. All right. So thank you to each and every one of you. I appreciate it. I would just like to, just give a quick shout out to tribal, original tribalwear.com. Make sure y'all go check out the website. All right. Our sister, she got beautiful clothing. So I always like to, give her a shout out. All right. So let me just share the screen real quick. All right. Because she's one of the official sponsors of American Aboriginal Sun platform. So just want to definitely give her a shout out. She's doing great clothing and, great apparel for, us, Aboriginals, American Indians. You know what I'm saying? So let me share my screen again and share screen. Here we go. Boom. All right. Let us just go real quick. Go check it out. All right. Here we go. www.originaltribalwear.com. All right. Men and women fashion. Okay. Tribal wear apparel. All right. So go check it out. It's one of us. All right. She has a business. She's out of California and she's doing beautiful things. So please go support her. There you go. Pretty soon you guys will see my picture up there. All right. Because she sent me a beautiful piece and I'm going to be rocking that. Man, I just love this one piece for the sisters. That's beautiful. All right. So check it out, family. Go check it out. Support. Let's support our own. All right. It's time we get back to supporting our own and building our own. You feel me? Here we go. And you got the headbands. All right. Headbands. Boom. Okay. You got the hats and all that. You feel me? Go ahead, subscribe to the newsletter. Go check out the information. Once again, the phone number is on there. All right. You could call. The information is there. The sister is always on point in returning calls and emails. She's on top of her game. So I appreciate that. All right. So www.originaltribalwear.com. Thank you for being an official sponsor of the American Aboriginal Sun platform. Thank you so much. All right. All right. So once again, big up to the family, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to conclude this video by saying giving thanks and praise to our ancestors. You know what I mean? We got a lot of work to do, man. 2020 is coming up, and it's a beautiful time to be alive. It's a beautiful time to be the original indigenous people of the land. It's a beautiful time to be an American Aborigine. It's a beautiful time to be an American Indian. You know, I mean, there's so much disparity right now in the so-called American Aboriginal community that so many people are hating on each other. I don't want to be a part of that. So that's why I stay in my own lane and I just do what I do. You know what I'm saying? I just want people to see me for who I am, bringing the truth and bringing the light. That's it. You know, let my actions speak for itself. So once again, thank you for supporting. For those of you who wish, to support, my Cash App, please show your appreciation. Let me know that you appreciate the information that I bring, and this platform is of a benefit to you. So once again, one hand washes the other. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your continuation, and we will talk soon. Peace, love, harmony, and light.